Hello everybody. Welcome to the channel if you are new, and welcome back if you're already a subscriber. In today's video, I'm going to be going through my February planner setups. I also have a Hobonichi 5 here and a Project Life album that I work on throughout the month. We're not going to talk about those in this video, mainly because they don't really require a lot of prep. It's more done throughout the month. I do make a kit for my Project Life, which you guys will be able to see on Sunday what that kit looks like. Obviously, if you're watching all this in real time. February starts tomorrow, so let's get to it. The first planner that we're gonna go through is my budget planner. So this actually stays in my purse, and it almost serves as like a full-blown wallet at this point. I have space for my cards, my ID, and my money for the week, like the cash that I'm allotting myself for that week. This is actually a traveler's notebook for my stash. I really am going to do kind of like a lower no spend kind of year, and just use the materials that I've collected over time. I think I'm a little bit less precious with those things, like the things that have hung out in my stash for a while, like this, where it was like, oh, I gotta have it, and then I never used it. And it actually had this like fairly cheap insert in it, which was perfect because then I wasn't focused on being precious with it. I felt like I could be sloppy. I feel like I could try new things. I felt comfortable with just playing. So I have started the month off with a chart that I did in January as well. I didn't change anything from January to February other than like it was minimal tweaks, and I'll call them out as I get there. This did not change, which is just a place for me to put the balance, the carrier, the minimum, and the amount paid for any accounts that I have that have like a tally that carries over from month to month, I should say. So I wouldn't put things like my rent or my insurance or anything like that. It would be more of like credit cards or payments or anything like that. The next page, I split up down the middle into my two checks that I get and what needs to be paid on each check, or what might need to be paid on each check. And the reason I say might is I might have a zero balance on, let's just say, my TJ Maxx card. Say it's a zero balance, but maybe I charge something towards the end of the month before after I set up a spread. And then I just want to go ahead and pay it off. And the reason I have like this bar is to either put a check mark for that I've paid it. I can put an arrow if I can actually migrate it to a different check. Like say the payment date, like in this particular case, say I'm paid up. Like I've already paid the minimum and I don't owe it again until March 1st, which would be like the next rotation of like this style of check right here. I typically alternate between bills and rent. And sometimes things will float over if necessary, like Affirm, because I'm like on two different schedules with Affirm. Like I have payments that run into both. I just put them on both paychecks at this point. And it's just like leftover Christmas stuff that I still need to pay off. But I basically can put an arrow to migrate it to the next check that style, or even the next check, or I might just draw a line or an X for the fact that I don't need to pay it. So say again that the TJ Maxx card is completely paid off, I don't know anything on it, I can just put an X there. And that seems to work for me really well, just having everything at a glance like that, so I don't forget a bill, and it reminds me to also check everything and put the balances here. I like that these pages are next to each other. I don't really think I did that in January. Then we go into my weekly tracking spreads. So I opted to do one specifically for the trip, even though it's 7 days, and typically I'd like to go 8 days between switching budget envelopes, i.e. resetting my spending limit. My spending limit is $150 for every 8 days, but I did adjust this a little bit just because of the trip. I wanted it to have its own thing. So the 1st through the 7th is my New Orleans trip, and that's going to be documented here. 8th through the 14th, 15th through the 21st, and the 22nd through the 29th. And as you can see, it's pretty simple. It's a section for dates, the amount, and the description of what it is. Then I've got a section for February notes. So this is a great place for me to have like a check-in at the end of every single week. And I felt like that really helped me this month. And we'll talk about that more in the January flip throughs. But essentially at the end of every week, I was totaling to see if I was under, over, and then I was taking a deeper dive to say, okay, why was I over? Why was I under? What's an action item to take into the next week? So for example, the first week I was actually over by quite a bit, and it had to do with the fact that I was spending a lot of money on takeout. So I said no takeout until my hair day, which I stuck to. I was a little tricky, and I'm always a sucker for a loophole. So I did treat myself to a Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit one day, and then my company told me to put takeout on my card one day because we just had a day where we were completely fried, and I was like, I cannot. Like, we were all struggling to just get to the end of the day, and she knew that I had placed a to-go order, and she was like, just put it on the card. Just put it on the card. It's been a day, which was very kind. So that's just like things to keep in mind. And I feel like if you're having those weekly check-ins with yourself, it also helps you to stay on track, because if you're only having that check-in at once a month, it's kind of difficult to undo that damage, if that makes sense. Like the second week I started buying stuff for my New Orleans trip. So I kind of had to like have a moment of like, take a breath. What do you actually need? And what do are you going over because you're pre-buying some things that you do need, or are you going over because you're buying shit you don't need, like new clothes when you have plenty, kind of thing. But this is a good space for that. And then that is it as far as the February setup goes. Obviously back here, I keep my cards, business cards, credit cards, and in the zipper pocket is my cash for that particular week. So it's a pretty simple setup. I really like this, and it's been nice to have it in my wallet, because when I spend things, like I immediately just pop the receipt underneath this so I can see how many receipts I have backed up, which is, I took them out, but I have a lot to go through this morning where I'm a little behind on updating that. So I'm going to throw that off to the side for now. And we're going to get into my Hobonichi Weeks. So my Hobonichi Weeks actually serves as my health and fitness kind of well-being tracker. I'm already starting to track for this week. I love that everything matches, and I have like all of this cute botanical stuff. As you can see, I'm already charting a little bit for the week. I kind of forgot when I was filling in this planner that, oh crap, it starts the same week as February starts. So I'm giving myself away a little bit that I'm filming this very down to the wire. I've been working a lot on Project Life and other content to make sure that there's plenty for you guys to watch while I'm gone, and trying to kind of set myself up for success so that I have time to relax that weekend that we get back. So I'm just trying to do myself a service and prep as much content as possible. So filming this video has been a back burner item. But anyways, as you can see, I popped in a new little label. I just cut these out with my tab punch from We Are Memory Keepers. You can pick them up on Amazon. I cannot remember. I want to say it was like $10 or $15, maybe 12, something like that. I don't think it was over that. But you can punch out a tab that's that size. It actually comes with some plastic covers, and then you can even buy them separately. I'm not that worried about it. This planner does stay in my purse, but it doesn't take quite the beating. Like, I learned that from the tabs from Coffee Monster Co. So the little ones are from last year. These larger ones are going to be documenting 2024. As you can see, I am definitely trying to use every little bit of space. So I used some Hobonichi date covers to cover this particular page and last week too, just to make sure that the dates are accurate. I do need to pop a cover over this, admittedly, that'll say like January into February or something like that. And to also like date stamp it. I just haven't gotten around to it. I've done it on other spreads. And then I have been putting a habit tracker in at the top. And this is actually fun because it'll cover both of the weeks. So this is obviously the 1st through the 4th of February, but then this goes into the 5th and the 11th. You'll see I have it themed as Mardi Gras colors. And as far as my habit tracker for these 2 weeks, I'm just focused on the AM, PM skincare, temperature, which I already haven't taken and I'm sucking at, meds, supplements, steps, mood, and energy. I'm keeping it really small and narrow, mainly because I'm going to be traveling and I just don't want to create, like, I'm going to be traveling from the 1st all the way to Wednesday. So I really didn't want to give myself extra to-dos, really just want to keep it clean. And I try to keep that in mind when I travel, like don't create extra nonsense that you have to work on. Then I have some last year's spreads. Sorry, that glue from that first one really did a number on this. The next spread, and again, I'm trying to use every spare inch of this planner. So I'm just flipping until I get to the next page. So this is February 19th. Why do I feel like I messed up. I did mess up and I skipped this page and you'll see in a second. So this is February 19th through the 25th with my pretty habit tracker. And you can see I'm back to tracking a whole bunch of extra stuff. So I've got calorie deficit, no sweets, eye cream, all kinds of craziness. I think I'm back to tracking workouts in here, and I always make sure to leave myself enough room to track any intimacy, my cycle, or a workout, and my mood and my energy, as well as any other little details of the day. Like if I get a headache, like right now I have really bad neck pain, and I need to actually put that in now that I'm thinking about it, because I do know when it started, and I really need to kind of like put like a pain meter. I was doing really, really well until I got in the shower this morning, and I looked up and then I went to put my head back to center basically, and something has like caught in my neck, like, and it's pinched again, and it hurts really, 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 really bad today. So definitely not doing well with that, and I thought we were making progress. Like I said, I accidentally skipped a page, but this is definitely Valentine's week. This is February 12th through the 18th, and I absolutely love how this turned out with the stars. I wish my Friday was a little bit more centered, but I really have been enjoying this style of kind of making a bubble or a swatch or something, and then filling the space and using my Hobonichi Furunosuke, and this is the hard tip to hand letter whatever the days of the week are. I think this is super fun and cute. And then the last week and going into March, I actually made it really simple and got to utilize some day stickers that I had in one of my sticker books. This one is from Amy Tangerine. It's just a planner sticker book that I had, and I thought this would be really fun with the rainbow, because I'm hoping to do a rainbow week, which we'll get to here in a little bit. But I thought this would be really fun. And then this is a little strange where I just did weekend, but I didn't like the Saturday and Sunday colors that they had in the book that I had left. So I just thought weekend would be a really great substitute. And then that is it as far as February setup. Last month I did like a whole meal plan or meal ideas plan. I didn't want to do that with February because again, we're traveling, so I'm not going to set myself up for that. Same with workout. I don't want to set myself up for failure. I really just want to come back and like maybe eat the things that I've missed out on, or just kind of like follow my intuition and my instinct. I do want to do another juice cleanse. It went really well, and now I feel like I've kind of cracked the code on it. We'll talk about that more in the January flip throughs, but I did do a 3-day juice cleanse and I really enjoyed it. Way more than I did the first time I did it, which was years ago. And I really felt like I learned a lot and could be more successful. And that made me feel really empowered, to be honest, to be like, I can actually do this now that I understand my timing, what kind of snacks I need, where to get those snacks. And I think it's going to roll over to helping me get more prepared for the cleanse and ease out of it better. I do think that I timed it very well in terms of like my energy and my mood levels. I think I could have timed it better with the vacation in tow. Like there's not really a lot of time to roll out of it either before I'm going to eat a lot of bad food again. So I'm keeping that in mind. But I look forward to doing one, and I think it might become something I do monthly as well. So getting into, I'm going to do the tarot planner, and then we'll finish up with the Hobonichi Han. So I was actually smart enough to just tab my February spread. So let me make sure that this whole guy is in frame. I know it's so much bigger than the others. But as you can see, there is quite a bit. So as far as my tarot reading for the month ahead, I feel like the major energy and the mood and the way that I felt about everything was that I really just needed to let my intuition guide me. That was the biggest takeaway, was that I need to let my intuition guide me. I need to have faith in the universe, which I feel like is always like a theme, but I feel like it was telling me like you need to let some control go and you need to be more in tune with yourself and your flow. And I feel like I felt a lot of that energy the last like week or so. Like I've woken up and it's felt natural to start in a particular category and roll with it. And I've felt very calm when it comes to like, okay, this rock is now in my river. All right, we're going to go around. It's okay. There's going to be rocks. There's going to be bumps. It's okay. Like, how can we adjust this? I felt like I've been very adaptive, I would say, the last like week or so. So I really feel like I'm going to see that energy carry into February. I have a lot of anxiety in general, and I feel like a lot of us do these days, but a lot of my anxiety are, you know, it's negative self-talk. It's, you know, you can't do this, you're not good enough for that, you're not enough, blah, blah, blah. And I feel like this tarot spread really did reaffirm, like, you are enough, your priority is important, your values are important, what you value and prioritize is important. Take a breath. Take all this energy, and instead of pouring it into the you're not enough negative self-talk, let's pour it into being present. Let's pour it into being adaptive. Let's pour it into new things and being open. I feel like sometimes I can be very rigid and hyper focused. I think it's the Knight of Swords that's like that. I think, if I remember correctly, like very, very, very hyper focused energy to where you don't see what's going on in the peripherals. And I can get like that. Like very dog with a bone mentality. And I feel like starting the month off with a trip where I know roughly the itinerary of what's going on is helping a little bit, because it's like you can't control everything. Take a breath, back up. But I get really nervous. Like I feel like, oh, I'm not packed correctly, or I'm not going to have the right thing, or I'm not going to wear the right thing, or then I'm going to look fat in this, or I'm going to get wet in this, or this is not the right outfit for the thing, and then I'm going to look silly. Like I get overly in my head about my appearance or how I'm going to appear to others. And like there was even a place in here where it was like, basically don't compare. Don't play the comparison game. It was in work specifically, but I feel like that relates to like my content brain and like the things I put out as a content creator. Comparison will kill you to death, because you may not be as high quality as some of the planners that you like, or the content creators you like, or the scrapbookers that I like. Like I'm aiming to be like my peers, and it can get very noisy in your head and you can have a lot of self-doubt. And I feel like that goes with any category. But basically, before I run on forever, it was a lot of energy of fill your cup so that you can give properly, have faith in the universe and yourself, and just let that lead you, and be open and be present. Like don't get so caught up in the hurricane of it all that you forget. And there's so much to be excited and grateful for and experience in the next few weeks that I'm just so excited to be open to that. So it was a really nice reminder. I feel like my intention section really just hit home with everything I just said, so I'm not going to be redundant. As far as this month's priorities, same thing, just being really present, flowing with that intuition, and focus on a direction. Once I kind of like reestablish, like, where are we going? Where are we going? Why are we trying to get there? Okay, is this in line with that? Am I leaving room for grace as well? I'm feeling inspired by self-love and reflection. I want to feel relieved and I want to feel light. And I think that if I just keep that in my brain of like that feeling when you take a really deep breath and you let it out and you blow all that energy out of your body and you blow all that worry off of you, like that just very relieved vibe is what I'd like. I'm looking forward to New Orleans and new and a reset. I need to let go of negative self-talk, which I feel like also encompasses a lot of what I said. As far as my goals for this month, I would like to finish the in bulk section of the custom. This month was more chaotic than estimated, so I really didn't get to work on that at all. I'd like to hike with Jeff. I'd like to save $500. I'd like to do another juice cleanse, complete my January Project Life, schedule a doctor's appointment, and inquire about a new dentist. I'd also like to join Moon Magic Masterminds. I was hoping to do that last month and just some things got a little wonky, so I'm gonna make another go of it. And I feel like also in this spread, I really kind of came back to there's a time and a place for everything. Like, what are your motivations for wanting to do something and your values? Like, are you wanting to do something because you want to be with the crowd, or are you doing this because you want to better yourself? Is this in line? Like, and I really have to think about this. Like, I want to join Moon Magic Masterminds. I think it would be very beneficial, but is now the right time financially to contribute to that, or do I need to save some more and feel a little bit more secure in that area before I contribute to another small business, even though I'm really passionate about that business and I wish it all the best? I don't need to do it to the detriment of myself. And it very much goes back to a lot of the coins energy that I was seeing towards the end of last year of be open to help when it's offered to you, but also help others when you can. So I just really need to focus on that once again before I contribute. And then that does it for the February spread in terms of my ritual planner. Everything else is done on a daily or weekly basis. So that brings us to the pretty Hobonichi Han. I feel very redundant because I say this in almost every monthly setup video. I am not a big pre-planner. I'll create my trackers. I might create a couple color schemes, but I keep it really simple because I am more of a real-time planner and tracker. I don't try to create a lot of parameters for myself. If I don't know, I didn't even talk about it, but in my ritual planner, I didn't even set up a habit tracker in that one because I have a habit tracker in here as well as my weeks. And again, I didn't want to set up another one. We'll talk about why a little bit more in the January flip throughs, because part of it was like, I was trying to do goals that I didn't have anywhere else, or some that were more specifically related to my spiritual journey. And I just don't see February being a big spiritual journey month. I know that sounds really weird to probably say, but I do tend to try to flex my plans based off what's happening in there. And I've talked about this so many times, like, do not plan yourself into a hole, you know, that you can't get out of. This goes back to like even the juicing thing, like learning like, oh, if I'm gonna do a cleanse, this is the time of the month I need to do it. So what's going on around that? Is this possible? How can I best set myself up for success with this? Or do we just need to skip it altogether? Like, have those real conversations with yourself, and I guarantee you'll see movement in your plans. So bringing us to the first setup spread of the month, I'll go ahead and turn this so it's easier to read. I am actually keeping a lot of the same trackers, and you'll see I've already set up March because I really just wanted to keep it the same. I legitimately think that the only thing I took out was waist trainer. I'm just gonna put that, I tried to track that for a couple months and I still haven't worn it. So if I'd like to, I can log it in my weeks just fine, or in my Han, whichever, or in my Hobonichi, whichever I like. And just to clarify, this is a Hobonichi Han. It's like the hardcover. That's why I say it like that. And so I switched out the waist trainer for calorie deficit because that's something I want to focus on a little bit more than the waist training right now. And then everything else I think stayed the same. So it's 5 a.m. workout, calorie deficit, 12K steps, 64 ounces of water, reading 10 pages, French, 5-year, custom, and save. And I actually have a savings challenge. You'll see where it like drops off here. It's because I need more pennies. You save the amount of cents that it is for that day. So on the 1st, you're gonna save a penny. On the 29th, you're gonna save 29 cents. I do need to make like a cheat sheet version for when I get into February, because like February 1st, it's 32 cents, 34, like so on and so forth. So I need to adjust that a little bit and figure out where is the best place to put that tracker, just to help myself out. I wonder if there's like I feel like there's a page counter. Is there a page counter? Yes. There absolutely is. Okay, so like on the daily page, so that's the 33rd day of the year, the 34th day of the year. So that's my tracker. I was like, I feel like this is already done somewhere for me. And like I said, I've already set up March, so I'm planning to keep the same habits going into March as well. So flipping over to the monthly spread, I changed up one thing, and that was how I do the headers. So I still do a header, but I'm not writing it in the in the Tombow Food and Soke hard tip anymore. It's just too harsh. I really like how soft and clean this looks with just the little header. And this is my cleaning list for the month. And then in the monthly spread itself, you'll see where I've got my little play buttons, and I've already gotten some videos popped in. And if you look, you guys are gonna get a bonus video on Friday while I'm out. I'm gonna be going through my travel kit that I'm taking to New Orleans, so you guys can see what I packed up. And like I said, I will have my February DIY Project Life kit. It looks like a lot of people really enjoyed the January one, so I definitely think I'm going to keep up with that. Just as inspiration to shop your stash. And even though you may not have the same items as me, it may jog your memory to be like, oh yeah, those stickers go with that. Or, oh, let me go through my sticker drawer again. Or I might find something. Or, oh, that pattern is a little bit more Valentine's than I think, or springy, or what have you. So I hope it'll be inspirational and help everybody save a little bit of money. I've already got a plan with me uploaded as well. This video is going to be January flip throughs is my plan, and then I'll have another plan with me here. These videos are most likely going to be Project Life videos, whether it's one little word or a week video is yet to be determined. And I don't know that I'll have any hauls or anything in February. Those will probably come in March. I might treat myself to some things for my birthday. Also, I'll start getting my quarterly subscription items at some point. I haven't decided how I'm gonna quite film that. I might wait until the pen pal comes, because it does have everything in it. So I'll cross that bridge when I get there. But I do have a plan of what these videos should be, but I will not write them down until I actually have them filmed and uploaded and placed. And that's helped a lot. I actually use this not as a plan necessarily, but for what was actually put up and when it was actually put up. And I'm hoping to upload more to Instagram and to the Facebook group, and I would mark those too along the way. So that is the monthly setup. Now getting into the weekly spreads. I've already shown this week off a little bit, I think. I think I showed it in January because it was kind of like a half week, like half of it's January, half of it's February. I've got this super cute washi for in bulk. To me, this really does kind of have that like in bulk natural colors, but more importantly, I really loved all the little lights, because in bulk is about bringing light back in. We're heading towards spring. The days are starting to get a little bit longer, and we're able to see that. We can see like certain flowers starting to pop up and be present. So it's a really lovely time to like look ahead and start pre-planning for the year. We can see warmth on the horizon. So I really liked that as a washi. As I've said about 50, 100, 11 times at this point, I'm going to be traveling this week, and I'll actually be in New Orleans. And so this is the city washi. I am so bummed that I'm not gonna get, nobody is really, we're not gonna get the night version of this until after I'm back. But I think that would have been lovely to have. Who knows, like I might get to use it to document some other things. I think it'll be fun to document like maybe a Valentine's night out. So I'm not 100% bummed, but I do think it's going to be really fun. And I am planning to, I've already got it tucked back here, the city, I don't want to lose my place. I've got the City Life kit tucked in that front thing so that I can use it. I know it's planning to rain a little bit on our trip. I know we're going to be going to get coffee at some cafes. And it's just going to be really lovely. I think this is going to be really cute to document like a parade moment, because there's 2 parades that we're doing, and we're also participating in the second line, I believe. So I think that's going to be a really cute one to use, especially because I won't have a lot of to-dos. It'll just be a lot of memory keeping. This week is Valentine's. I opted to go with the, I think this is Floral Forest. I feel like that's what it was called, but this was the first one. The newer one is actually purple, and would really look quite lovely if I put it like on the monthly spread maybe. So that is an option too. I might put that one there. This week is all about self-love. I will definitely be pulling my self-love kit. I will replace it when I get back from the City Life and try to keep my kit up here, but I did treat myself to the self-love kit, and I can't wait to use it here. I always try to have a self-love self-love week in February, because I think that's just as important as, you know, your relationship with your partner, but the relationship with yourself. So I always try to have that popped in here as well. And then I have left myself a Post-it note. I love clear Post-it notes. I get these from Office Depot. I think it's just the Office Depot brand. And I think they even have them in colors, but I just wrote Rainbow Week. I am very long overdue for Rainbow Week. I don't know the style of it that I want though. Do I want to use older washi that I have? Do I want it to be Coffee Monster Co? Do I want it to be, I don't even know. I don't even know what I want. So I just wanted to put a sticky note there. And because of the fact it's like right there at the end of the month bleeding into March, I have plenty of time to decide. And that might be a really good week to do like a plan with me so that we can all find out together what it's going to look like. But that would be really fun. And that does it for my Hobonichi setup for the month of February. I don't set up any of the daily pages. Those are all done in daily real time. So nothing else to see here, folks. I really hope you guys have had a fabulous January and have wonderful plans for February. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. I'm happy to answer them. I am hoping to maybe do another live stream situation in March, but it really will depend on how much I get done in February. I think if I end up finding myself with too much content, that's gonna be the majority of the reason. I'll have had like a lot of weekly spreads from Project Life to where I can make sure that the uploads are still consistent across the board and give myself some room. But I also have to make sure that I have enough content to actually do 4 lives. So we'll see how it goes. But again, I will keep you guys abreast with that. Again, if you have any ideas for content or questions, please let me know. But until then, enjoy creating your own little wonderlands. Bye, everybody.